Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Let's start. Today we'll be doing chapter 22, fraudulent and criminal behavior. Okay, page 353.
We're not doing employment law today?
I thought I would be doing that, but fraudulent and criminal activities is more interesting. Okay, let's start. So any queries till now? Any queries from the previous chapter?
No, ma'am. Everything is almost clear.
Have you started solving the revision kit questions,
No, ma'am.
chapter backside questions?
No, not yet.
So you must be making notes then.
Yeah. I'm just revising, going through it. Haven't done any questions yet.
So you can start with the questions given in the backside of the chapter.
Okay.
Quick
I'll do
quizzes
that
and question bank from here, like these questions. You can start doing it.
Okay.
All right. So today we will be starting part H, corporate fraudulent and criminal behavior. Can you hear me? Is my voice clear?
Yes, ma'am, it's clear.
Okay. So what is this all about? Fraudulent and criminal behavior. What do you think we are going to study? What's the difference between fraudulent and criminal?
Fraud is, I guess, when you are unable to understand. It's not a direct thing which we can get it. We get it after a long time. Like if we are maintaining accounts, we can do fraud in it. We don't show the transactions exactly, and then later on we get to know it's a fraud. And criminal is a direct offense.
Okay. Do you think fraud falls under criminal crime or crime falls under fraud?
Fraud falls under crime.
Fraud falls under crime. So I hope this makes it clear that what's the difference. Let's start. Financial crime. What is financial crime?
Whatever we are doing with the monetary value, like finance, accounts, businesses, something related to money.
Something related to money. Financial crime is something related to money. Okay, what kind of crimes can be committed related to money?
As I said, financial under financial, we can put accounts, like we are maintaining the company accounts, and we can do financial transactions. We can do some wrong. We can just find out some loopholes in it.
Can you give me an example?
Like if I'm maintaining my income tax and I'm not showing the exact transactions, I'm just hiding some of my transactions and claiming it. So that's a financial crime.
Okay. Okay. Crime is conduct prohibited by law. Crime is a conduct, is a behavior, is an act which is prohibited or restricted or banned or unacceptable by law. And who is making this law?
Government, parliament, states.
Either the government, which can be known as a state or parliament, or by court.
Yeah.
Okay, these are the two bodies that can make laws. Financial crime can be international in nature, yes or no?
Yes.
There is a need for international cooperation to prevent it. Agree or you don't agree?
Yes, I do, because if you talk about money laundering, it's a financial, international, it's a global crime.
Yeah. All right. So law tends to be organized on a national basis. However, when it comes to a crime which is across the borders, then like money laundering and all, then you need international cooperation so that justice can be given. Justice can be done. Okay. Now, international financial crime. What is this all about? We know financial crime means crime related to money. And there are three major categories of such crimes. Number one, insider dealing. Number one, insider dealing. By the name, what do you understand, Kinza? By the name,
Internal
insider
dealing
dealing.
inside the
Okay,
country,
okay,
inside the company, internal dealing. We are just dealing, like for example, if I'm making up my accounts of the company, I'll just ask the other person who is also making the accounts. If you talk about like banks, they just switch. We are forced to switch the bank after 2 years. Like the managers, they have to, because they get to they get into the internal dealing. They get good friendships, and later on, it just they can do the crime easily.
okay. Please read the definition.
Insider dealing is the statutory offense of dealing in securities while in possession of inside information as an insider. The security is being price affected by the information. Okay, okay. When a person is giving, like, if there is a robbery and we have like the maids or somebody is inside and they're giving the exact information about it, then it's insider dealing.
Exactly. For example, a company is having a board meeting. Okay, a company is having a board meeting, and the directors are discussing upon two issues. Two issues. The number one issue, to shut down a branch or a department. To shut down a department or a branch. Okay. And number two, acquisition of another company. Acquisition of another company. This is happening inside the board meeting, and एक चाय वाला आता है और तमाम directors को चाय देकर जाता है. And somewhat he overhears that they are planning to, or they are intending to, shut down a department. And he also hears that they are going to take over a competitor's company. Now this chai wala is smart. He wants to sell this information outside because he needs money. What he wants, what else he wants? He needs money, and he knows there are people outside who need information. So he sells this information for a price. He might have he might have sold it to an employee of the company. He could have sold it to a competitor. He could have sold it to anybody. Anybody. Now, this act is a criminal act, is a crime, is a criminal offense, and therefore it is known as insider dealing. Can you tell me why is this a crime? Why is this considered a crime?
Because it's
Insert your stuff, frozen. Hello. Sorry, I can't hear you.
sorry, ma'am, I got disconnected. He cannot sell the information because it's confidential, and without anyone's permission, you cannot tell their secrets to anyone.
Okay, number one, you said the information is confidential, right? Number two, you cannot sell it without permission. Who takes permission? Yeah. Right? Who takes permission? Like, okay, can I sell this? Nobody takes. So confidential. And secondly, this information is price affected. What do you understand by this word? Price affected.
Because of this leakage of this information, the price can be affected badly, because when people
What?
will know that they have intention of the
Price
price
of
of the
what?
of their business, of the company they want
Price
to
of
sell.
their shares,
Yeah,
their securities, their
the
business
monetary
value.
value will be affected, because everybody else now will be knowing, and the price will not, they will know that they want to sell it, so obviously the price would be affected then.
Right. So insider dealing is dealing in securities, dealing of any information which, if is leaked or is known by the competitor or is known by the public beforehand, it can affect the price of the shares, the securities, the business value. Okay, it can create chaos. Maybe now, see, the board meeting is going on. They have not yet decided. They are just discussing. The chaiwala has heard the discussion. He has not heard the decision. Getting the point.
Yeah.
So it may
Yes.
happen that they have, they do not
It's a
plan to
false information.
execute this.
Yeah.
They do not plan to execute this. They are just discussing the pros and the cons. It's just a suggestion.
But
It's
ma'am,
just
don't
an
you think
idea.
it's the responsibility of the organization to keep their secrets to them and not talk in front of other people? Because every
Definitely,
time you cannot just
definitely.
ask the police to go and get that person who who overheard you.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. It's the responsibility of the organization and the people working there to remain loyal and not to be involved in such an act, such a crime. But you cannot stop people from doing this, can you? Can
No.
you? There are all types of people around.
Yeah, we can't exactly.
Who knows? Who knows that the director who is sitting in this meeting, he might share the information with his wife, and the wife could not keep
But
it to him.
actually, yeah, but actually, if the director is sharing it, he is committed not to share it. So I think that you can, take good actions about him, because he is
Right.
bound to be loyal with you, with your organization, and he has signed the contract. So he has to be very careful about it, without, he can be asked that
Absolutely.
why did you?
Absolutely, Kinsa. He must be ethically and morally and legally and contractually and as per the duty and as per his position and post and the responsibility he carries with him. All right. This is all exactly he should be doing. But don't you think there is a possibility how crimes
Yes,
happen?
there is, definitely there is.
A son is not supposed to kill his brother, to murder his brother, but doesn't it happen?
Yeah, it does.
Crimes happen this way. So this is one of the crime and criminal activity. And if you are caught, if anybody is caught in this kind of an activity, he is punishable by law. Okay, he is punishable by law. It could be very simple cases. Like it could be the situation could be that the director has gone home and shared with his wife, and the wife has leaked it out in her kitty party. It can happen. And
Yeah,
you can't even control this kind of thing. No? You can't even catch it.
that's right.
You can't
Yeah,
even pinpoint that okay, insider dealing has happened this way.
yeah,
It
because the
can
director's intention was pure. He didn't mean to do that, to be honest.
he's sharing with his wife a confidential
Yeah,
information, trusting his wife, but he doesn't know that his wife is not trustworthy,
yeah,
right? He might be unaware, and then it may also happen that one director has gone to a party at night and he got drunk, and in his drunkenness he shared something. Possible.
yes, definitely.
So all these may happen. That is insider dealing. And one more condition that has to be fulfilled to ensure that it is insider dealing is that the party who is sharing the information has some kind of benefit. The party who is sharing the information can earn some benefit, and the party to whom the information has been shared is also getting a benefit to know it before time.
Yeah,
So if there is a benefit which is unjustified, either for the one who is sharing or for the one who is receiving the information, then definitely it is insider dealing. Dealing means you are earning a profit out of that information in any way.
But if like the wife is telling to any other person, like she has no intention, but she's just telling it, then she's not getting any profit with it, any advantage, any
But
benefit.
to whom is she sharing with? She's
That
sharing with,
person is definitely getting it, but not her.
yeah.
So even then, it's
She's
going to
still
be insider dealing.
responsible because she knows that her husband is a director. She knows the importance of a director. It's but obvious she can't just tell that no, I didn't know what a director does or this is such an important information. She can't refuse that. That's too good to be sweet. Okay, so you can't do it. And because if she was so innocent or so masoom, then the director wouldn't
But
have shared it with
but
her.
ma'am, she's drunk. We can't, say anything
See, the
to her.
first
She has
responsibility
no
is of the
intent.
director. The director is
Yeah,
the
exactly.
person
Why did he
responsible.
share on the first place?
Why
Yeah.
did he share? He was the employee, he is a director, he's not a stupid person. So it is insider dealing case for him first. For him first. He is the first one to do. Okay. And then of course there are evidences and the facts and figures which the court will see. Then only it can decide that okay. Alright, let's go on to this. To prove, please read from here.
To prove insider dealing, the prosecution must prove that the possessor of inside information dealt in price affected securities on a regulated market, encouraged another to deal in them on a regulated market, disclosed the information other than the proper performance of their employment, office, or profession.
समझाइए. Dealt in price affected securities on a regulated market. What does this mean?
It means that it's a very regulated market. Everybody is having a look on the what the market is about to do. Just like you were saying about the shares thing. So if it's a regulated market and then he leaked the information, then obviously it's a crime at the
मुझे एक
specific
बात
point.
बताओ.
Like for example,
मुझे
if
एक बात
we tell everyone that
किंजा एक बात ये बताओ कि डायरेक्टर है, ठीक है, and he has got hold of this information that the company is planning to shut down a particular department or branch. First of all, tell me what do you think will be impact on the shares once the department is shut down?
low price,
The share price will go down. True.
yeah,
What could be the intention of the director sharing this inside information with his wife? Possible
okay,
intention of the director to share this information with his wife. What does he want
because
his
he
wife to
want
do?
others, yeah, maybe he want others to know that he's shutting down the company and the share price should be going down, but actually he's not doing it, and he really wants the share price to go down, and maybe he can have some benefit with it.
Okay. अब real situation के ऊपर बात करते हैं किंजा. Let's see. A director. Usually a director holds the shares of a company. Usually that's the norm. कि हर director के पास कुछ ना कुछ company के shares होते हैं, उसने खरीदे हुए होते हैं, because then only it is ensured that he is taking rightful decisions for the company and he is being loyal
And
to
he
the
is
company,
motivated.
and he is motivated and he ensures that the company is running in the best way possible. So now the
Yeah,
director has these shares, and when he bought these shares, it was 100 rupee per share. Okay, and when he
okay,
bought these shares, it was 100 rupee per share, and today the value of these shares is 150 rupee per share. Let's
okay.
understand this. Okay, and it was initially when he bought 100 rupee per share, and currently it is 150 rupee per share. Okay, now 100 rupee per share, and it is currently now current value 150. After this decision is announced, right after this decision is announced, the director assumes or forecasts that the share value will go down to rupees 90. Do you think this is a favorable situation for the director who is holding at least 10,000 shares of the company?
No.
So what would he do? Would he think of the benefit of others, or first would he be thinking about his own benefit, that how to
His
protect
own
myself
self.
from the loss that is about
Yeah.
to happen?
His own.
So this is the reason why he has shared the information with the wife, so that wife can go and sell the shares right now when the price is 150,
Okay.
so that he can gain a capital gain of rupees 50 before this decision is announced.
Yeah.
Make sense?
Yes.
Makes sense. Now, if the wife will go in the market and sell the shares of the director, which are in the name of the director, of course, people will get,
Yes. Mhm.
people will get that, okay, something is about to happen. Why the
Something is
director is
about
selling
to.
off his shares?
That's
The,
right.
the antenna will stand. Okay. So
Yeah.
now, how to play smart? Because if he does that, if the wife goes in the market and sells the shares, it is likely that they will be caught in an insider deal. Very much likely. So
Yeah.
now what to do? What to do? Now the smart thing would be that it is possible that the director might transfer the shares in the name of the wife, and
Okay.
then the wife might transfer the shares in the name of a brother,
Okay.
and then the
Yes.
brother might transfer the shares in the name of the wife, his wife, and the wife might
It's the full
transfer
thing.
again in the name of his sister.
Just like the politician buys their property and just make their money
Right.
white.
Unless now the sister has no connection with them, with the director. Okay, no connection with the director, but now she is going to sell in the market and nobody will know, because she is some XYZ person who has so much
Yes.
time to see that this sister is directly
Exactly.
related to director or not. Okay, so this way they can get back their profit, they can save them from getting into loss. ये छोटी छोटी चालूपंथी हैं जो लोगों को लग रहा होता है कि वो कर रहे हैं, अपने पैसे बचा रहे हैं, बट इन द लॉन्ग रन दिस कॉस्ट देम अ लॉट. ठीक है, इन द लॉन्ग रन अब देखो, अगर पकड़े गए, कहीं ना कहीं से भिनक पड़ गई कि इनसाइडर डीलिंग हुई है, क्योंकि शेयर मार्केट में, स्टॉक मार्केट में पता चल जाता है, लाइक ओके, currently the market has 50 million shares. 50 million shares the market has. The market यानी कि all over the public has 50 million shares of XYZ company. और अचानक से अगर ये अपने शेयर्स बेच देगा, तो देयर वुड बी 45 मिलियन शेयर्स और मे बी 48 मिलियन. देयर बी द काउंट इज कमिंग डाउन right before this decision is about to happen or be announced. Are you getting the point?
Yes, I am.
So this is how they are going to say. It may also happen that director does not have any shares of the company, but his relatives have. Why? His relatives are trusting him that okay, this director works in this company and he is our relative. हम इसको जानते हैं, ये भरोसे वाला बंदा है, ये हमारे घर का मतलब बड़ा है, पीर है, और इसकी कंपनी है और अच्छा ये कमा रहा है, हम इसकी कंपनी में शेयर्स लेंगे तो हमें कभी भी नुकसान नहीं होगा. So he might be
True.
informing others, his relatives, कि यार बेच दो क्योंकि लॉस होने वाला है. Because if he will not do it, then his relatives will get angry with him. That why didn't you tell us? You must be knowing that it's about to shut down the share market, the
Exactly.
share price is going down. So these could be the possible reasons for insider dealing. Agree?
Okay. Yes.
This is one example that I'm sharing with you. It can happen with employee, it can happen with any other person working in the company, it may happen with any public person as well, it may happen even with any media person. Like for example, the media person came in for a conference and he overheard something, so he got some insider information somehow.
Okay. Got it.
Maybe a guest speaker came in, or maybe an auditor came in and he got some inside information and he decides to leak it, or he decides to sell it. It can be any way, any example, any instance. Now, insider dealing, when will the prosecution decide that, okay, this is insider dealing? He must prove that the possessor possessed the inside information. Number one, the first proof, कि मेरे पास inside information थी. Second, dealt in price affected securities, कि मैंने ये information हासिल करने के बाद I went to the market and I did some kind of transaction which would save me from loss or which can gain me more profit. Next, encouraged another to deal in them on a regulated market. I encourage my brother, or I encourage my relative, or I encourage my friend कि अभी खरीद लो, प्राइसेस बढ़ने वाले हैं, शेयर्स खरीद लो, प्राइसेस बढ़ने वाले हैं. क्यों? क्योंकि हम अक्वायर करने वाले हैं किसको? हमारे कॉम्पिटिटर को. Next, disclose the information other than in the proper performance of their employment, office or profession. Information को लीक किया गया है. They are, you know,
We are talking about the organization's performances rather than talking about just the employment, office stuff, and their
they are
profession.
being disloyal with their post, with their
Yeah.
job, with their position. They are being disloyal. Dealing. Please read.
Dealing is acquiring or disposing of or agreeing to acquire or dispose of relevant securities, whether directly or through an agent or nominee or a person acting according to direction.
What are they saying?
Dealing is just like, for example, I'm buying a property, so I'm just dealing with the agent, maybe, or directly, or maybe dealing in a negative way, like just
Dealing means
dealing
whenever
means
the
to,
word dealing comes in, what does it mean? It means you're either purchasing, acquiring, or you're selling, disposing.
yeah.
और agreeing to acquire or dispose of. Agreeing यानी आपने बात तय कर ली है, commit कर ली. Okay, through an agent or directly, up to you. Through a nominee, you're asking your wife to go
It's
and
like
do
we're
it.
dealing.
Appointing
Yeah, we are just dealing that.
exactly.
I'll give you some money, you give me information, you just go and ask for their information, just make friends in them and just talk to them and
Yeah,
let me know the
if we
information.
take the example of director, he cannot sell the shares himself in the market. So he might appoint some agent to do it for him. Or he
That's
might
right.
nominate a person which is दूर का रिश्तेदार जिसका उसके साथ कोई connection पकड़ा नहीं जाए, and he can go and do it.
Yeah.
Right? Next.
Right.
Encouraging another to deal, we can encourage anybody else to deal instead of
Yeah,
us.
by giving good good motives and good things.
I can give you the information.
Appreciate.
You have the shares in the company, and I give you the relevant information that ये गिरने वाले हैं share price, तो आप फौरन जाके, आप समझदार होगे तो आप फौरन जाके बेच दोगे. If I tell you that this company is going to acquire the other company जिसके पास share prices बढ़ने वाले हैं, तो आप अभी जाके सस्ते में खरीद लोगे ताकि अभी तो बढ़ने वाले हैं थोड़े दिनों में, you get the information.
True. So
it is irrelevant whether the person encouraged realizes that the securities are price affected securities. Now your question here is answered. कि वाइफ को तो पता ही नहीं था कि ये कितना इंपॉर्टेंट इंफॉर्मेशन है और उसने वैसे ही बोल दिया, तो क्या वो फिर भी उसका जुर्म है? क्या फिर भी she has committed a crime? So here, see, the answer is person encouraged realizes that the securities are price affected securities and it is irrelevant. Irrelevant यानी कि फर्क नहीं पड़ता अगर उसको पता भी नहीं है कि ये price affected securities की बात हो रही है और उसने वो एक्शन कर लिया, so that means he is in the deal.
Okay. Even if she has no intention, even then.
Inside information is given to that person. For example, a simple recommendation to the effect that I cannot tell you why, but now would be a good time to buy shares in Blocks PLC. Indirectly बताया.
Okay.
बताया नहीं कि क्यों, बस बोल दिया कि हाँ अभी अगर तुम खरीद लोगे तो अच्छा हो जाएगा. क्यों अच्छा हो जाएगा? He is not telling the real thing, the actual thing, but indirectly he is telling.
Yeah, but it's almost the same.
Any dealing takes place, the offense being committed at the time of encouragement. अगर वो एक्शन लेता है उस इंफॉर्मेशन को हासिल करने के फौरन बाद या उसी वक्त, तो ये डीलिंग है. ठीक है, लेट्स मूव अहेड. Securities covered by the act. Please read. What securities are there?
Securities include shares and associated derivative debt securities and warranties.
So what falls under securities? Whenever they use the term securities, you must know it includes shares, It includes associated derivatives, debt securities, and warranties. Okay, next, inside information. This we have done, it's just the repetition. Insiders, who could be an insider? Director, employee, shareholder, employment, office, or profession. These people can be the insider who get the access to the inside people, inside places, inside information. जनरल डिफेंसेस, अब अगर आप पकड़े गए हो इनसाइडर डीलिंग में तो आप क्या क्या एक्सक्यूजेस, एक बंदा क्या क्या एक्सक्यूजेस दे सकते हैं अपने डिफेंस में. द फर्स्ट, प्लीज रीड.
An individual has, okay, they did not expect there to be a profit or avoidance of loss.
वो बोल सकते हैं हमें तो पता ही नहीं था कि इससे प्रॉफिट भी होगा या अवॉइड होगा. ये तो
Exactly.
बस एक बात थी, हमने बाय द वे कर दी और इसलिए की कि ताकि एम्प्लॉइज जो है ढूंढ ले अपनी जॉब कहीं और ढूंढ ले, मतलब एकदम से उनको शॉक नहीं लगे. तो हमने तो नहीं सोचा था कि इससे उनको कोई खास मुनाफा होगा सिक्योरिटीज में या लॉस अवॉइड करेंगे. नेक्स्ट.
They had reasonable grounds to believe that the information has been disclosed widely enough to ensure that those taking part in the dealing would be prejudiced by having the information. Actually, they pre-planned. They just made first they made up their grounds just to believe that information, whatever they shared, is not they did not intend to.
Okay, that they thought कि information announce हो चुकी. The director might have be saying that, okay, I thought that it has been already announced. That's why I shared it with my wife. I thought it's already announced in the media or we have published this information. So I thought that it's not no more a confidential information, or else I had never done this. Next.
They would have done what they did even if they do not have the information. For example, where securities are sold to pay a pressing debt. Okay, they are saying whatever has been done is not because of their information. This would have been happened in the market anyway. It's not their fault.
Yes, because of some other reason, might be there's a marriage happening and they need some money, so they had to sell the shares. Or it is possible their son met an accident and they need money for the hospital expenses, so they sold the shares. Anything is possible. Next.
Defense to disclosure of information by an individual are that they did not expect any person to deal. Although dealing was expected, profit or avoidance of loss was not expected.
They can say that they did not expect the person to deal. That means, for example, the director has shared it with his child, with his son. And he's saying, of course, my son was not supposed to sell anything in the market or purchase or to deal. So I just shared it with him, but he did not know that when he was sharing it with his son, the घर का कोई मुलाजिम सुन रहा था. Or maybe an assistant of that director was listening and the assistant had the shares and so he quickly went and sold the shares. Although dealing was expected, profit or avoidance of loss was not expected. Okay, so I hope this is clear.
Yes.
Any query till here?
No.
All right. So information is made public if. When should the information be made public? Number one. Read.
It is published under the rules of regulated markets such as the stock exchange.
Next.
It can only be public, we can public it when it's a rule and when we have to share the information to the market.
Next.
It is in public records, for example, notice in London Gazette.
Gazette. Okay, it's a journal, it's a magazine kind of a stuff. Okay, next.
It can readily be acquired by those likely to deal. It is derived from public information.
Right. Information is made public if all these rules are fulfilled or any of these rules are fulfilled. Next. Information may be treated as made public even though
it can only be acquired by exercising diligence or expertise, helping analysts to avoid liability.
Now, information may be treated as made public, like for example, when COVID attack. So whatever scientists were doing in the research room, and whatever findings they were finding, it was immediately being made public. It was immediately being given to other experts in another country, so that we can get to the root cause of the COVID and we can create a vaccine. So this was not meant to be kept confidential. It was meant to be communicated and to be specially given to the experts who can avoid liability through it, who can use it. Right? Next.
It is communicated only to a section of public, thus protecting the broker's lunch, where a company informs only selected city source of important information.
Communicated only to a section of the public,
A specific
specific
category
people,
of.
specific community. Next.
It can be acquired only by observation. It is communicated only on a payment of a fee or is published outside the UK.
Now, what is happening? Kinza, what is happening? They are saying, देखो case आया है court में. There's a case in the court, and the court has to decide whether it is insider dealing or not. So we have gone through the conditions above, and we know that yes, it is insider dealing. But the last factor we have to verify that was the information already being made public or not. Because if it's made public, then there is no crime.
Insider dealing, yeah.
Okay, but if it's not made public, then it's a crime. So the court has to check whether the information was made public, or can it be treated as made public because it has been provided to a section of the society, because it has been acquired by observation, because it has been put a fee on it and you can get that information in the market somewhere. Are you getting the point? So
yes.
Then also it will be treated as made public. It's not necessary that it has to be announced on the media, in the news, to the entire country.
Okay. Even if it has been announced to a specific body, even then we can call it a public.
Exactly. Even if it has been launched in the specific in a specific place. अब देखो अगर मेरी कंपनी acquisition की तरफ जा रही है, I'm not going to make a news ना. I'm just going to announce to the relevant people. I'm just going to go and meet that company people. And I'm going to tell them, give them an offer, and if they accept the offer, it's sold. That's it, done. And the company of that people and the company and the people of this company, both of them know. So when both of them know, then it's public. Okay.
That's right.
And if we are shutting down the department, of course we are going to go and tell the employees, inform the employees that okay, the department is about to be shut down, so get ready, find some job for yourself. All right. Penalties. If you are caught in insider dealing, what is the maximum penalty? Please read.
Maximum penalties given by the statutes are 7 years imprisonment or an unlimited fine. Contracts remains valid and enforceable at civil law.
Okay, 7 years ki jail, sazae, jail, and unlimited fine.
But it's a maximum if it's a maximum punishment. Otherwise, it can be less.
Do you know that 7 years imprisonment is called a lifetime imprisonment as well? Yes, because a lifetime, it is believed, science says that 7 सालों में एक इंसान पूरा चेंज हो जाता है, तब्दील हो जाते हैं, उसके पुराने सेल्स मर जाते हैं और नए सेल्स आ जाते हैं. इट्स अ कंप्लीटली न्यू पर्सन. सो पुराने पर्सन ने सजा काटी थी, जुर्म किया था, तो उसको 7 साल की सजा मिल चुकी है. इट्स अ लाइफ टाइम इम्प्रिजनमेंट. Now he's a new person, so after 7 years he's going to be released. That is unlimited fine and 7 years of imprisonment. Now territorial scope. This scope is only in UK because the insider dealing is happening here. We are studying UK law. It is possible in other places as well, only if it is there in their law. Now, problems with the laws on insider dealing. Now there can be loopholes in insider dealing. What are the problems? There are limitations. How will you catch it? The first problem. कैसे पता चलेगा कि मैंने आपको खुफिया खबर बताई? If I am a member of ACCA, I am an ACCA member, of course, and if I get any inside information from ACCA and it's not yet announced in the public, and I just tell you because you're my student that okay, आपको पता है December session नहीं होने वाला, something like that. That December session has been postponed to January. You know why? Because ACCA is going through a crisis. Some inside information I'm leaking to you. Who can catch it? Who can catch me? They are sitting in UK. I'm here
Exactly.
in Pakistan. And also through this online recording, which you and me, it's only between you and me. Who knows it? Who else knows it? So it's very difficult to catch this, and because of this, the market gets abused. Because of this insider dealing, market gets abused. Now, what is market abuse?
Market abuse relates to behavior which amount to abuse of a person's position regarding the stock market.
What are they saying?
They're saying, like, for example, our market, like if we talk about the lawyers, we have no trust in them. The market has been abused. The position of the lawyer, nobody trusts them. So the if like leakage, the dealing is happening quite often and things are going on. So obviously the market is actually abusing the specific position of a person.
Whenever there is authority and the authority person is misusing their position and power to conduct such activities like crimes and to take advantage of other people who don't have this position, it is called market abuse. Anyone can do this. Politicians do this. Teachers do
Yeah.
this. Auditors do this. Bankers do this. And so do directors. Nobody is, doodh ka dhula.
Especially here.
Right. So I hope that it is clear. Just let me check why Ali is not present.
Although Ali messaged
Yes.
at around 11
Yes.
o'clock.
Ms. Rimsha, can you please follow up Ali? What happened to him? Okay, so market abuse. Done, market abuse is done. Examples of market abuse is number one, misuse of information. Number two, manipulating transactions. Number three, manipulating devices. Number four, market distortion. Number five, dissemination of information. And that's all. Now, what is this? Can you give me an example of misuse of information?
Misuse of information, the information is not available there, but still we are using it, we are telling
Because
it
we
to
are an
others, we are
insider
just
person,
misusing it.
because we are an
Exactly,
inside
and we
person,
just
we are misusing it. Okay, next, manipulating transactions. As you said, Kinza, a
uh,
while ago, that manipulating the financial statements and the
yeah,
transactions and all. That is the same example. Manipulating devices. We have the computer.
manipulating,
We have
yeah,
the IT
exactly,
in
we
our
just,
hands.
yeah, and sometimes we can just hack up the email as some others and then getting the
Exactly.
information, so with the devices.
Exactly. Market distortion.
Like market disruption, maybe that actually just because for our own sake we are just making the changes like in the dollar rates and something like that, we're not taking care of the whole market.
Right. Dissemination of information.
We're just excluding some of the points, the main points which were required, which would have changed the decision. We are just excluding them.
Right. So these are the 5 ways in which what can be done. Market can be abused. Right. Next, money laundering. What is money laundering?
Money laundering is the attempt to make money from criminal activity appear legitimate
Legitimate.
by legitimate by disguising its original source.
By disguising its original source. So money laundering is what? What do you understand?
Money laundering is like, for example, we're just taking up rupees from Pakistan to other countries, just
Why? Why are we doing
injecting
that?
it to the other.
Why anyone would take money from here and transfer it to some other country bank account? Why?
Because it's mostly a black money when it's a money laundering, because we don't have to show it
Exactly.
here and we're just using
Exactly.
it somewhere else.
Exactly. It is illegal money or illegally earned money, which needs to be hidden, which needs to be hidden by the people who are earning this kind of a money because they don't want to pay tax, they don't want to get caught that they earned it through illegal ways. So what they do, they transfer money from one place to another place. They transfer money many times. They try to hide the real source, the actual source, the original source of this money, and they try to make it appear as a white money, legitimate money, legal money.
Okay.
So they want to wash the money, the black money, and convert it into white money. And there's a procedure for it that they follow, which is known as money laundering. And the procedure has, study what it has. And the money laundering process is comprised of three phases. Number one, placement. Number two, layering. And number three, integration. This is how money laundering is done. This is how black money is converted into white. Placement, the initial disposal of the proceeds of the initial illegal activity into apparently legitimate business activity or property. I sold chori ka phone. Sold it. That's illegal
Yeah.
money.
Yeah.
Now that illegal money, I have to, what I need to do, I need to put it into a legal काम. क्योंकि अगर उसको
Yeah.
मैं लीगल काम में नहीं डालूंगी तो उसका सोर्स पकड़ा जाएगा कि ये फोन चोरी हुआ है, यहाँ से पैसे हुए हैं, इधर हुए हैं. You'll get caught. I cannot imagine this process in Pakistan because I have never seen it happen. But I can imagine this process in UK because this is the norm. They have the controls, the appropriate controls. But lately I saw that they purposely, sometimes it happens that they even purposely create loopholes in the system. Purposely,
Yes, of course they do.
right? So that is
course.
again, some
But comparatively, obviously, the ratio is quite less over there
exactly,
because they have strict rules and they make sure they implement the rules
controls are
properly.
in place. So placement, what happens, that initial disposal of the proceeds, whatever has been sold or whatever business has been done, illegal business, and they have earned that money, they need to put it in some good work, in good business, so
Yeah.
that, or in a property, so that it just disappears.
That's right.
Then layering, they involve the transfer of monies from business to business, place to place, to
Like you
conceal the
just
original
gave an
source.
example, like Behen, then uski cousin. They're just
Exactly.
layering up so that at the end, they cannot get the
Exactly.
real person.
From Karachi bank to Dubai bank, from Dubai bank to
Yeah.
Afghanistan bank, from Afghanistan bank
Afghanistan to
to India
Singapore.
bank,
Yeah.
and then back to Pakistan. एक घुमा के अपने पास वापस लेकर आने, ठीक है?
True.
Just to make it seem like legitimate funds, but it's not. Integration, अब layering हो गई है तो अब जाहिर है वापस से integrate तो करना है ना, मेरा कमाया हुआ पैसे
True.
मुझे वापस तो चाहिए ना खर्चा करने के लिए,
Yeah.
इसलिए कमाया था. So
Which is maybe they're buying up the property or just putting it into to the
Exactly.
business after the layering.
after the layering. अब मेरे भाई ने अपने बैंक से मेरे बैंक में डलवाया तो यही लग रहा है मेरे भाई ने भेजा, मेरे लिए तोहफा भेजा है या अम्मा के लिए भेजा है. Okay?
Exactly. Mostly income statement mein people are showing up that it's a gift from my brother, my mother. So it's every.
That is integration. So this is the process. Now, what is the penalty? 14 years of imprisonment or fine for knowingly assisting in the laundering of criminal funds. अगर किसी ने
That means
assist
2
भी
death
किया है,
sentences.
2 death sentences, 2 lifetime imprisonments, and even if anyone is assisting and they are not directly involved but indirectly involved, 5 years imprisonment for failure to report knowledge or suspicion of money laundering. Even being an
Okay.
employee or assistant of my boss, I just felt that okay, this person is involved in money laundering, might be involved, and I failed to report to the authorities, to the relevant people, then I will also get a 5 years imprisonment. 5 years imprisonment or fine for tipping off a suspected launderer. Tipping off, what does that mean?
Tipping off, like bribing.
No, tipping off means, all right, I am assistant, okay, and my boss. Okay? My boss is
Okay, if
doing the,
for example, if I tell my assistant that if you're going to tell it to anybody else, I'm going to take you off from the job.
that is fine. But the boss is doing the money laundering,
Yeah.
and assistant को भिनक पड़ गई है. Now assistant को भिनक पड़ गई है, he fails to report, he is to be imprisoned for 5 years. Now अगर असिस्टेंट मिला हुआ है बॉस के साथ और असिस्टेंट ने क्या किया, असिस्टेंट को पता चला कि पुलिस को पता चल गया बॉस के बारे में, असिस्टेंट भागा 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 गया बॉस के पास और बोला बॉस निकल लो, पुलिस को पता चल गया आ रही है. तो असिस्टेंट इज गिविंग अ वार्निंग टू द बॉस टू एस्केप.
Okay. Okay.
And the boss escapes, he flies to Dubai, he flies to some other country. That is tipping off.
It is actually if you're helping the main person.
You're helping the
source.
main person to escape.
Okay.
Then that is a 5 years imprisonment. Okay. Next. So I hope it's clear. Laundering, failure to report, tipping off. You can read through it yourself. We have got the core of it. Next. Anti-money laundering supervision. Please read.
Anti-Money Laundering Supervision. The Office of Professional Body Anti-Money Laundering Supervision was established as a regulator by the UK government to strengthen the UK's anti-money laundering regime, FCA 2018. The organization is responsible for the oversight of professional bodies in relation to the money laundering regulations and aims to improve the consistency of professional body supervision in the accountancy and legal sectors. However, it does not directly supervise legal and accountancy firms.
Right.
With time, obviously, things are changing. It is a body actually whose supervision, who's just taking care that all the rules are okay, people are following it. But on the other hand, if and they on the other hand, they are even improving themselves because sometimes, it was a manual register before in the for accounts, but now it's all computerized. So it doesn't mean the laws are going to be the same. The laws will be consistent, but they have to be updated. So they cannot directly change the laws or they can just impose something on the legal firms, but they can supervise, they can give the ideas that these new laws or these things should be done.
Right, exactly. Now, the money laundering regulations 2017. Please read.
The Money Laundering Regulations 2017, TSO 2017, required organizations to establish internal systems and procedure which are designed to deter criminals from using the organizations to launder money or finance terrorism. Such systems also assist in detecting the crime and prosecution the perpetrators. Actually, these regulation bodies are they help others to set up, like for example, I have a business. They will help me, they will give me nice internal laws so that later on I can get a complete hold on my organization and these procedures doesn't happen, these mistakes.
Right. So we have money laundering regulations 2017, which has the responsibility to regulate and to design such systems and procedures so that the criminals are deterred from doing this. They are stopped from taking the initiative to start money laundering or finance terrorism. So it is their responsibility to help or make sure that there are laws in place which forces the organizations to establish such internal systems and controls that would stop this from happening, that would control the people
Yeah.
or prevent the people from getting involved in this. These regulations apply to all relevant persons. Done. Okay. Next. As each organization is different, systems should be designed which are appropriate and tailored to each business. These include risk management practices, internal controls and customer due diligence. क्या कह रहे हैं?
They're saying that every company is not the same. If you're talking about like medical profession, they have different things to be followed, different rules. If you have a business organization, they have different rules and different things to be followed. Every organization cannot be handled in the same way.
Exactly. And Kinza, these are the 5 measures which can be taken in order to prevent people from getting into money laundering. So what are they? Risk management practices can be checked. Internal controls can be checked. Now, what can be under the internal controls? Appointing money laundering compliance principle, appointing a nominated officer to receive internal reports, assessing the skills, knowledge, conduct, and integrity of employees, waqtan fa waqtan, establishing an independent audit function whose role is to assess the adequacy and effectiveness of anti-money laundering policies, controls and procedures. बाकायदा एक अलग टीम हायर कर ली जाए और उसको रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी दी जाए कि वो इंडिपेंडेंटली ऑडिट फंक्शन करेगा एंड उसका काम ही यही होगा जस्ट टू इंश्योर कि एंटी मनी लॉन्ड्रिंग पॉलिसीज हैं, काम कर रही हैं, कंट्रोल्स मौजूद हैं, प्रोसीजर्स मौजूद हैं, कहीं कहीं कोई लूपहोल तो नहीं आ गया, कहीं कुछ डिसफंक्शन तो नहीं हो रहा. These are the internal
या फिर
controls
जैसे
that
फॉर
can be
एग्जांपल कोई एम्प्लॉय है, अब वो एक नॉर्मल जॉब करता है एंड ही हैज अ वेरी बिग हाउस, so obviously it should be taken care of कि वो कहाँ से जा रहा है, क्या प्रॉब्लम हो रही है, if he is the only one earning in the family. So these are the things which needs to be
customer due diligence. The customer due diligence के कस्टमर के साथ मिलके तो कोई नहीं कर रहा इस तरह की
exactly.
activity, right? So how can that be done? You can go through the para. Then there is simplified due diligence and there is enhanced due diligence. What is simplified due diligence? Kinza, can you please read?
Simplified due diligence is permitted where the risk assessment indicates that the business relationship or transaction present a low risk of money laundering or terrorist financing. Customer due diligence should still be performed, but at a level that reflects the lower level of risk. Simplified is like, for example, I'm a customer and the other one, I'm a customer and I'm telling it to the employer that, okay, just give me this much discount. Just give me this discount. I'll give you 5% share of whatever discount I will be receiving. So this is actually the due diligence. But if it's simplified, then it's okay. A little bit of risk is there. So that's fine. If there's a big risk, for example, the shares and if it's something related to a big problem, then maybe it's enhanced due diligence.
Enhanced will involve a person which has a high risk third country, politically exposed person, any very important person, any terrorist, which is creating a high risk. And simplified means simplified as a low risk. Low risk and high risk, that's the major difference. Okay. Next, examples of enhanced due diligence measures. What are the example of enhanced due diligence measures? Number 1.
Understanding the background and purpose of transaction.
Okay. Next.
Increased monitoring of the business relationship to transactions to determine whether there is any reason to be suspicious about them. Obtaining additional independent, reliable verification of information provided by the customer. Taking additional measures to obtain satisfaction that customer transactions are consistent with the purpose and nature of their business relationship. Placing transactions under greater scrutiny and increased monitoring of the business relationship.
Any point which you do not understand?
No, it's clear.
Next, reliance and record keeping procedures. Of course, record keeping procedures are very important. We must have the record and maintain the record. And reliance also that there is no mistake in the record. Okay. So how you can ensure that by installing proper softwares, by keeping a qualified
and updating on the regular basis.
Updating on the regular basis, deleting the very old files which are obsolete or which are no more required. Monitoring and management of compliance. Monitoring and management of compliance definitely to ensure, to supervise that whether the things are taking place or happening, or the controls are working, functioning properly or not, whether the appointed people are supervising or not, or they have become corrupt themselves. So ये सारी चीजें monitoring में आ जाती हैं. Next, 2 years imprisonment or an unlimited fine for what? Should a business fail to implement these measures criminal offense punishable with a maximum sentence of 2 years. यानी ये सब business को ख्याल रखना है. ये जो आपको बताया गया है, this one, the money laundering regulation 2017 is a law which is setting down the guidelines for the company to follow and to implement in its organizations against this particular criminal activity.
Because if something will happen, they will not ask the person, they will first ask the company, why did it actually happen on the
were
first
the
place?
controls in place or not? Did you take appropriate actions
Good measures.
or not?
Yeah.
You must be clear how these rules seek to prevent or minimize money laundering. Okay. Now, bribery. What is bribery? Kinza, what is bribery?
Bribery, giving someone something, maybe a stuff, a thing, or money to take his side, to give him a nice decision.
This is
give
a
him a
serious
favor.
offense which often relates to the offering and receiving of gifts and hospitality. We know, we have seen it and we have experienced it. So I am not going through this. 4 main offenses: bribing another person, being bribed, bribing a foreign public official, corporate failure to prevent bribery. Okay. Next, bribing another person, being bribed, relevant function, bribing a foreign, blah blah blah. You can go through this yourself.
Yeah.
Okay. Criminal activity related to companies. Now, criminal activity related to companies, you can even go through this yourself because it's just repetition of the same things we have been discussing throughout till now. Criminal offenses in relation to winding up. Now, the companies, if it's getting winding up, that means if the company is shutting down, what offenses or what crimes can come into place or be committed at that point of time? Please read.
Criminal offences in relation to winding up includes making a declaration of solvency without reasonable grounds and fraudulent trading.
All right. क्या मतलब है?
They're winding up the business without any reasonable grounds. Without, for example, if the company is running very nicely, but director has his own interest, he is he's with the other company, or maybe he has his own company now, so he's just winding up the company and just for his own sake.
Exactly, zabardast. So when the company is supposed to wind up and when it is not supposed to wind up, maybe they are giving illogical reasons to wind it up. Maybe they have some personal benefits, and maybe fraudulent trading is happening and they are scared of getting caught, so they are quickly just winding everything up so that they don't get caught. Okay, so these could be the possible reason. Now, declaration of solvency. What is solvency and what is declaration of solvency, Kinza? Any idea?
Solvency is closing up, and declaration is declaring
it has
openly.
gone bankrupt. No money has left in
Okay.
They are loss-making company and there is no money. They're finished. They are, liable to pay off so many people, but they are, they can't pay off. They are getting bankrupt. Fraudulent trading. You are saying that you sell laptops. You're a laptop selling company, but under the table you are also selling some other stuff which are illegal. You might be selling some weapons as well, or you might be showing that you're a laptop company, but under the table you are doing some other business. Okay. Fraudulent trading. Maybe you're creating false customers for yourself. Maybe you're selling underqualified products. You're showing on online business that, oh, this is a very beautiful pen, you can use it, and when the customer orders it and you send it to his home, it is a very cheap quality and it doesn't even function. And then
or we are saying it's a original Rolex watch, but it's actually a fake one.
It's actually a fake one. Okay, any kind of fraud can happen. Next, wrongful trading. What is wrongful trading and what's the difference between wrongful and fraudulent trading?
Shall I read?
Yes.
The problem which faced the creditors of an insolvent company before the introduction of wrongful trading was that it was exceptionally difficult to prove the necessary fraud. Therefore, a further civil liability for wrongful trading was introduced, which means that the director will have to make sure contribution to the company's asset as a court sees fit. The difference between fraudulent and wrongful is that fraudulent, we can clearly tell that it's a fraud. We can see it, but wrongful, it's just somewhere, it's a gray area maybe. So we have to first look into the court, and then they can decide that is it a wrongful or a rightful act.
फ्रॉडुलेंट ये फ्रॉडुलेंट और रॉन्गफुल में फर्क ये होता है कि फ्रॉडुलेंट के आपकी नियत ही खराब है, आप करने ही फ्रॉड बैठे हो, मार्केट में आप फ्रॉड ही करने बैठे हो, उसकी टोपी उसके सर, उसकी टोपी इसके सर, आपने कंपनी की बुनियाद ही फ्रॉड के बेसिस पे रखी है और आप मुस्तकिल अपनी हर एक्शन में फ्रॉड कहीं ना कहीं किए जा रहे हैं। wrongful trading is that it just happens that one incident has happened in which you have done something wrong, in which you have taken the wrong path. Overall, you're a good company. Overall, you were doing the business with the right intentions and was going fine. But in one particular contract, or maybe in one particular incident, you were wrongful or you did a wrongful trading. आपने कुछ गलत बयानी कर दी और या कॉन्ट्रैक्ट गलत साइन करवा दिया, या आपसे अब कोई मिस्टेक हो गई है जिसको छुपाने के लिए यू आर टेलिंग अ लॉट ऑफ लाइज एंड यू आर जस्ट ट्राइंग टू फूल द कस्टमर. It may happen. So that is wrongful trading. That is not as serious as fraudulent. It may happen that it is as serious as fraudulent, but fraudulent is आपकी नियत ही खराब है, आप शुरू से ही fraud में लगे हुए. Okay.
Okay.
Next. Other offenses in relation to winding up, and that is
acting as a director whilst disqualified. Okay, you don't have the authority anymore. You cannot take the decision, but still you're taking the decisions and you're making up.
Yeah, acting as a director while disqualified. You have been disqualified. You have been disqualified as a director. The Company Directors Disqualification Act 1986 makes a person who acts as a director while disqualified personally liable for the company's debts. Like, of course, like for example,
Like if there's a cricket
five
team
friends.
and I'm the coach. Yeah. So if I'm no more a coach, but still I'm dealing with them. I'm telling them, see, now you have to still listen to me and just telling them the stuff. So obviously I'll be liable, whatever things have been done. Maybe they lose a match.
Exactly.
I'll be liable.
You got it. You got it. Phoenix Company. What's a Phoenix Company?
The first time I'm listening to this name.
Have you seen Harry Potter?
Yeah.
Have you seen that bird in Harry Potter called Phoenix?
Yeah.
What does it do, or what's its function or speciality?
I don't remember it much.
Okay, that bird called Phoenix, when it grows old, it turns into ash. And through
Okay.
that ash, its new baby comes into existence. That is a phoenix. Okay, that's a
Okay.
speciality of a phoenix. And so they have applied the same term phoenix to the Phoenix Company, because this company is doing the same thing. It is also a kind of a fraudulent activity or criminal act that, for example, the company is X company के साथ मसला हो गया, and X company has gone fraud or bankrupt. Hello, are you there?
Yes, ma'am.
Light was gone. Okay. Now, Phoenix Company. Now, the company is just a minute. Give me 1 minute. Phoenix company, a company is doing fraud. For example, the Mr. X Private Limited. For example, my pen disappears. Mr. Imsha, please arrange a pen for me. It's creating problem. Okay. X company. What happens to X company? It is doing fraudulent activity and it is shut down. Okay. It is caught in the fraudulent activity. It is shut down. या ये खुद से पहले से सोच लेते हैं या माइंड अप कर लेते हैं इससे पहले हम पकड़े जाए. Okay. They wind it up. They shut it down. And then what happens? What happens? The people who were running this company, they go to some other place, some other town, and they create another company with a new name. And they start doing the same kind of activity with a new name and with some new customers, new faces. जैसे आपने कोई ड्रामा भी देखा होगा, मूवी भी देखी होगी, like they are a gang and they are just doing this. Their job is to come here, start a company, take the money from the customers, don't deliver, and then run away to another place and then open another company.
Yeah.
That is Phoenix company. That is Phoenix company. Okay. Next, fraud and deception. The Insolvency Act 1986 makes it a criminal offense to conceal or fraudulently remove company assets or debt, including falsifying records. You are hiding something. You are fraudulently stealing the assets of the company, or you are making the debt clear in the books, in the statements, falsifying the records. It is also offense to dispose of property that was acquired on credit that has not been paid for. So fraud and deception can happen in any way, any manner. It all depends upon the creativity of the thief. Now, the defrauding creditors. Who are the defrauding creditors? Please read.
Once a winding up commences, the Insolvency Act 1986 makes it an offense to make a gift of or transfer company property unless it can be proved that there was no intent to defraud creditors.
Okay. What does it say? Once a winding up commences, the Insolvency Act 1986 makes it an offense to make a gift of or transfer company property unless it can be proved there was no intent of defraud creditors. अब हो क्या रहा है? Company है, काम कर रही है. Okay, company is working and it has some creditors whom they need to pay off, but they have not paid off yet. And what they are doing, they are making a gift or transfer of company property to somebody else who is not a creditor.
Yeah.
And when they do that, they don't have an intent to defraud the creditors. They don't have an intent to, you know, creditors का पैसा गबन करने की नियत नहीं है और वो बगैर उस नियत के कोई गिफ्ट या कोई प्रॉपर्टी ट्रांसफर कर रहे हैं, then it's okay. बट अगर उनकी नियत में है कि हमें क्रेडिटर्स का पैसा गबन करने और हम पैसा कहीं और ट्रांसफर कर दें, बेच दें किसी और कस्टमर को और कंपनी की प्रॉपर्टी को या गिफ्ट कर दें, सो दैट ऑफेंस विल बी नोन एज डिफ्रॉडिंग क्रेडिटर्स. एंड ये कब हो रहा है? ये वाइंडिंग अप के दौरान हो रहा है. व्हेन अ वाइंडिंग अप कमेंसेस, जब आपको पता है कि कंपनी को शट डाउन करने का वक्त आ गया, तो क्रेडिटर्स को देने के बजाय आपने वो प्रॉपर्टी या किसी को गिफ्ट कर दी या किसी थर्ड पर्सन को सेल कर दी. क्योंकि उसूल यही है या प्रिंसिपल ये है, the rule of thumb is this, that when your company is shut down or it is wounded up, whatever money you're generating through selling of assets, you have to give that money to the creditor जिनके से आपने पैसा लिया था जिनसे, एंड जिनको आपको पैसे रिटर्न करने. But if you're not doing that and you're using it for some other purpose, then you're defrauding the creditors, and that is a crime. I hope it's clear. Moving ahead, misconduct during a liquidation. Misconduct during a liquidation. Now, what's a liquidation, Kinza? What's a liquidation?
Liquidation is like, for example, if I have a property, it's not a liquid asset. But if I have gold, bonds, cash, so cash is the best example of liquid.
That is right. That is right. You are absolutely right. But in this situation or in this case, it does not mean that. Okay? In this case, what does it mean? It means that a company A company, when it is decided that it needs to be wound up or it needs to be shut down, there are some ways in which it can be shut down. It can either happen by members of the company voluntarily decide that okay, we need to shut down the business. Or it may happen that creditors might go to the court and say कि भैया कंपनी बंद करो, ये हमारे पैसे नहीं दे रही, ये ठप कर रही है. Creditors बोलें, चिल्लाएं, कोर्ट में दरवाजा खटखटाएं, and they tell the company to either pay us off or shut down your company and then give us our money back. It can be bank, it can be creditors, it can be anyone, any third person outside the business who's going to the court and asking the court to shut down the company because they are not paying me back my money. Now, members voluntarily जब होगा तो वाइंडिंग अप, जब क्रेडिटर्स आके कोर्ट का दरवाजा खटखटाएंगे तो कोर्ट ऑर्डर देगा कि भाई कंपनी को लिक्विडेट किया जाए. And then they appoint a liquidator who is responsible to ensure that the company assets are sold and the money is returned to the creditors and the matters of the company are sorted. Okay, so that and when this entire process is happening, the liquidator is hired and all this process is going on, and if there is a misconduct during this liquidation process, it is a crime.
Okay.
It can be not identifying company property. That means the directors of the company are not cooperating with the liquidator. Are you getting it, Kinza? They are not
Yes.
cooperating with the liquidator. They are not.
Yes, sometimes they don't agree. They say, no, this asset is very expensive. We cannot sell it.
Yeah.
So that means they're not contributing.
Exactly. They are not giving the books and the papers. They are not providing information to the liquidator. They are not cooperating. So this can be a crime. Falsification of company books, omissions, गायब कर देना माल को, आग लगा देना evidence को. Offenses in relation to winding up. Winding up के दौरान कोई offenses हो रहे हैं, you can go through these cases yourself. Companies Act 2006 offenses. Company records गायब कर देना, accounting records no hanky panky करना. Trading disclosures ना देना. फाइलिंग अकाउंट्स यानी कि टैक्स फाइलिंग वगैरह ये सब को मेन कुछ करना, चोरी करना, हाइडिंग समथिंग, फॉल्स इंफॉर्मेशन. So all of this we have discussed throughout. You can go through it again. It's simple and self-explanatory. The Fraud Act 2006. Fraud Act 2006 says that it's an offense if you are falsely representing the information, the accounts, the records. Failure to disclose information, you're not disclosing the right information to the creditors or to the shareholders. Abuse of position, you're abusing your authority.
Misusing your position, yeah. Authority.
Criminal Finance Act 2017, again same kind of offenses. Tax evasion, you're not giving the proper tax, you're hiding it. Next, the offense criminal tax evasion by taxpayer, associated person of relevant body facilitated the tax evasion. You are helping someone to evade the tax. The body failed to prevent the associated person from committing or aiding or abetting the offense. यानी जुर्म करना ही जुर्म नहीं है, जुर्म को सहारा देना, असिस्ट करना भी एक बहुत बड़ा जुर्म है. डिफेंस क्या हो सकता है? Please read. What could be a defense to this?
Defense is actually what measures we are taking to protect the laws, the criminal activities that can happen in my organization. So we need
defense
to
is
protect.
कोर्ट में केस जा चुका है. I am being blamed for this crime, so I have to say something in my defense. So what could be the possible defenses? How can I save myself if I am blamed for this kind of activity?
That it was not my intention, I didn't know it was wrong.
Please read.
Under the Act, a relevant body has a defense. It can demonstrate that it had reasonable preventions procedures in place, or in the circumstances, it was unreasonable or unrealistic to have such procedures in place. It applies even in the business was not involved in the Act or had no knowledge of it. The maximum penalty under the Act is a conviction and unlimited fine. Okay, just like if you talk about shadi halls in Lahore, they will not find a groom or somebody else. They will find the hall because it's hall's responsibility to take care of the timings and everything. Same way they're saying that they will ask the company, and the company is answerable that why they did not take the measures. So they have to tell that maybe they had no idea about it, or maybe whatever, or it was very difficult to impose the law.
Now the example is here. You can go through this case as a self-study. Okay, we have completed this chapter. Anything that is unclear to you, anything that is stuck in your mind and you would like to ask?
No, ma'am, this chapter didn't have any much new terminology, so I guess
Okay,
quite
so
clear.
I hope it's good enough. Do go through money laundering and the criminal offenses related to winding up this. And this is an important part. Okay, the rest is all kind of general knowledge, but insider dealing as well was something new. Market abuse. Okay, so you can go through this chapter. It's an interesting chapter. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, Kinza. So I hope it's done. This
Yeah.
class is done for today. Have a great day
Okay,
ahead.
ma'am.
Inshallah,
You
see you
too.
tomorrow.
Thank you so
Tomorrow is
much.
Thursday, right?
Yeah, it's us.
See you tomorrow. Take care.
Okay.
Allah Hafiz.
You too. Allah Hafiz.
जी बेटा आज सबर करो